So here we are again, 3 years later. Let me hear some cheers for that. 3 years later, after our very first Seamless Advising Summit back in 2023. Good morning and welcome. My name is Marsha Inniss-Mitchell, and I have the honor and pleasure of collaborating with so many of you in this room on key Boston Public Schools college and career and post-secondary initiatives. We have a diverse group of partners here today. Let's hear a big shout out for our Boston Public Schools colleagues, our school counselors, our pathway directors, our central office teams. We also have our colleagues here from higher education, including our friends from the University of Massachusetts, and thank you so much for serving as such a wonderful host, as well as our colleagues from Bunker Hill, among others from other institutions. I see several of our community-based partner agencies here who provide critical college and career planning services to our young people each and every day. I got the opportunity to talk a lot with our job and apprenticeship programs downstairs this morning in the resource fair, which is opening opportunities to other options for our young people to consider. And I am eternally grateful for our philanthropic community who is here today, who continue to align their portfolios and stand beside us as strategic thinkers, as well as aligning their resources to sustain the wonderful work that we have built throughout the years. Regardless of what sector you represent, we arrive at this day as partners. We arrive here as partners together. And as partners in this work, I ask that you join me in the hope that I have for enhancing all of our students' chances for post-secondary and life success. We just have the right pieces in place to do this work. You know, I spend a lot of time with some of my colleagues here on the national stage, and Boston is often sought out as thought partners for how to really structure cross-sector initiatives. And one thing that we have done historically well is we've looked at big data, right, often and over time on the post-secondary outcomes of our young people, and as well as just unpacking that data to understand what their experiences are. And we've taken that information and we have been able to really craft initiatives like New Skills Boston. And over the past 5 years, New Skills, through this particular partnership and community, have led really amazing work. We've built up a culture for college pathways programming and have navigated persistent barriers. Our schools have amazing pathways in play right now. And it's different than just thinking about what high school I'm going to, and really helping our students to think about what do I want to do with my future and how can my high school experience get me there. We've created better processes to engage students in a multi-year system of planning. I think everyone knows MyCap is like a household name now, and that system begins currently in the 6th grade, and we're hoping to go even deeper into the elementary grades. We've been able to open access with many of our university partners here in this room to college credit opportunities throughout our pathways through dual enrollment. And that's amazing because we have more students enrolled in dual enrollment across all of our pathway types than we've had in the past. This track record and commitment lays the foundation for what we will do today, which is learn how we can best support our students in living choice-filled lives. You know, along the lines of choice, I've been, as many of you I'm sure, in a deep place of reflection over the past couple of months. And I had the amazing opportunity to go back to my elementary school this past January, which is the Murphy K-8 in Dorchester to do a school choice presentation, because we're taking it very seriously that as we are building out these amazing innovation, early college, international baccalaureate, advanced placement pathways, we want our students to know the benefits of these opportunities as they're engaging in the choice process. But as I was walking into the building, I felt a lot of joy, and I reflected on what I cherished most about my time at the Murphy. I recall as students, we were engaged in what I now know to be career-connected curricula with deep experiential opportunities. We had access to clubs like the 4-H. I remember doing a presentation here on my topic. At the times, it was like what drugs can do to your body, right here at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. We were engaged in activities that helped us to understand our unique skills, our superpowers, and when and how to activate it. And we had practitioners, our teachers, our partners really speaking to each other to connect all the different parts of our lives, to make our experience, our school experience, feel really personalized to us, right? And what I recall in that reflection is realizing for the first time that that is where my foundation was built, right? And it was like an aha moment for me. And that reflection allowed me to have renewed energy for the work ahead as we are living in these times, right? And that's the slogan of UMass Boston, really preparing our students for the times. I just look forward to being in community with all of you here today and learning alongside all of you. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm going to transfer the mic over to my friend, Joe Berger from the University of Massachusetts, Boston.
Thank you, Marsha. Good morning. Good morning. That's a B-. Let's try again. Good morning. Good morning. All right, great. So welcome to the University of Massachusetts, Boston. It's my privilege and honor on behalf of the university to welcome all of you here today. You know, we're here together as colleagues dedicated and committed to inclusive excellence, to equity, to providing the very best opportunities, choices, and outcomes for students now and in the future who need it and deserve our support. So, you know, I feel very privileged to be a member of this community, but I wouldn't be here this morning, I wouldn't be able to be in the role that I am at UMass Boston if it weren't for people just like you. You know, I grew up in a household with a father who had a debilitating and degenerative disease, a mother who had mental health issues, and my father was a real inspiration to me. But I would not have been able to imagine myself getting to college without having advisors and mentors who helped me along my journey. I went to college sight unseen. I couldn't afford to go visit colleges. And when I got there, having no idea what to expect, there were people there for me who guided me and helped me, who helped me discover things I had no idea were possible. I had such an amazing experience in college that I've never left. I have dedicated my life to try to do things for people that were done for me. Things that, again, I didn't imagine were possible. And to make sure that we are promoting the inclusive excellence, the equity of, again, opportunity, choice, and outcome. I've done that work here locally where, you know, we continue to battle against systemic inequities and oppression. I've done it globally in some of the toughest places in the world to build education systems because of human conflict. I've done work in Afghanistan, in Gaza, in Somalia. And everywhere I've gone, I've had the privilege to work with amazing individuals. You know, and there are times in this challenging and tumultuous world, and a lot of us are feeling the burden of those challenges right now, when it can feel overwhelming and it can feel daunting. But it's at those moments that then I hearken back to the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who reminded us that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And I truly believe that. And it's not a smooth arc. It is a jagged arc. But each of us as individuals, but also collectively working together, transcending the boundaries of our particular roles and our organizations, making an individual difference in the lives of others, really matters. It can make a difference. So it's our responsibility and privilege to engage together in work that matters here at UMass Boston, throughout Boston Public Schools, Bunker Hill Community College, all of our great partners through New Skills Boston, to help students make the transitions to and through what can be very challenging systems, to imagine possibilities that they never believed might be possible, and to earn their post-secondary credentials, not as a final outcome, but as a springboard to a livelihood of success for themselves, for their families, and for their communities. And together through this work that we do, we have many collaborative forums that advance this work. One of them is New Skills Boston. And a lot of great work has been coming out of these partnerships. For example, just last fall, we announced the Future Beacons program, a collaborative partnership with Bunker Hill Community College, but that also engaged deep conversations with other partners to make sure that it was a pathway that would work for our students, but it offers joint admissions. I often say joint admissions on steroids because it's not just a joint admissions. It allows students who apply to become Future Beacons to go to Bunker Hill Community College to take advantage of all the great people and resources there, but already know that they belong here at UMass Boston, to be able to get an ID that allows them to instantly access a myriad of resources here, and to know that it's not just a handoff from one college to another, that they belong in both places simultaneously. This is just one example of the collaborative efforts that can break down organizational barriers to create more seamless pathways to success for students in Greater Boston. And the work's not finished, right? It's more complicated every day. For all the great things that we've accomplished, we have no laurels to rest on. So today is an important point that allows us to engage together in learning about each other's efforts, right, to support students, to gain perspectives from each other, and to learn about what are the different approaches we're trying, what else we can do, how do we problem solve together, so that our students, all of our students, deserve and will benefit from our best thinking and our best efforts to reduce the barriers that exist in obtaining post-secondary credentials and degrees. So let's use our time together to increase our knowledge, to increase our commitment, but to leverage the amazing talent that we have in this room to make a collective and individual difference. Each of you plays an essential role in this work. And so to illustrate this point, I want to conclude my remarks with a brief story that I think many of you know, the starfish story. So, a small child walks on a beach after a big storm, and up and down the beach for miles, thousands of starfish have been thrown out of the ocean, and they lie dying in the sun, drying out. And a little child walks along the beach and is picking up the starfish one by one and throwing them back into the ocean. And an old man is watching this and approaches the child and says, why are you doing this? You can't possibly save them all. Why does it matter? The little child looks at the starfish in their hand, smiles, throws it back into the ocean and says, well, it mattered to that one. And so we're working here to build better systems, to build better partnerships. But each of us, hour by hour, day by day, moment by moment, person by person, can make a difference. It can matter in the lives of others. So I thank you for coming together with that commitment to serve each and every individual. Thank you very much.
Good morning, friends. All right, that was a B plus A minus. I'll take it. You're getting warmer all the time we're here together. My name is Marinelle Rumanier, and I have the pleasure to serve as the CEO at EdVestors. And I'm thrilled to be here this morning for our third annual Seamless Advising Summit. As the lead partner for New Skills Boston, my EdVestors colleagues and I have the great privilege of working with so many of you to expand access to career pathways and career-connected learning for students in Boston. And that includes BPS and UMass Boston and Bunker Hill and beyond as we continue to expand the scope of the work that we do. Speaking of my colleagues, I want to give the staff at EdVestors and the planning team of the partners who have pulled today together a shout out. I hope you all will join me in a round of applause. And I want to give a special shout out to my colleague here, LaVonia Montoute. Yes. LaVonia will not admit that this was her brainchild. She will share all of the credit with other people, but she has taken the idea and made it happen. If you don't know her, you'll get to meet her in a minute as she facilitates a panel, but the collective team of my colleagues at EdVestors and the planning team of partners who've brought today together are just so valuable and important to this work, and when you have an amazing experience at the end of the day, you can thank them all. The other folks we can thank are the leaders here in Boston, including Mayor Wu and Superintendent Skipper, who really have made very clear that they see pathways in career-connected learning as key anchors for school improvement and for improving the outcomes of the students that we serve in this city. We've seen a 44% increase in the number of students in pathways in Boston Public Schools since we started this work. And perhaps even more relevant today, we've seen an increase in the connectivity among the partners and institutions who are doing this work. We believe that when K-12 and higher ed and community-based organizations come together to create the conditions for advising to be, as Joe says, aligned and then seamless, students can benefit academically. And I think at the heart of what we are trying to do here, they can make more informed decisions about what their futures are. I think you've heard this morning from Marsha and from Joe. I know I have my own story as a first-generation college student of like, who was that person who made the difference in that path and choice? I choose Mrs. Nixon, who ran the college center in my high school. I think she was 80. I don't think she got paid, but she saw something in me that enabled a full scholarship to a place that I would never have had access to otherwise. And so many of you are here because of one of those stories, or here because you didn't have that story, and trust that each of you will be that person that somebody stands on this stage someday from the Murphy Elementary School or whatever institution you were a part of and says the same thing about you. So I hope that you see this as fuel for the journey as you continue that work. Seeing more than 300 of you this morning here in this room brings me hope for the future as we look to those hopeful signs to keep us pushing forward. Something else that makes me hopeful is living in the great state of Massachusetts. One reason we are so great is because our leaders are setting a vision for helping us move forward while other folks are trying to move us backwards. One of those leaders is here with us today is Secretary Patrick Tutwiler. Secretary Tutwiler leads the Executive Office of Education in Massachusetts, which oversees early childhood education, K-12, and higher ed. Before joining the Healy administration, Dr. Tutwiler was a senior program officer at the Barr Foundation, superintendent of schools in the Lynn Public Schools, And because there's always a Boston connection, or maybe even more specifically, a Brighton High connection, you might know Secretary Tutwiler from his time as both a teacher and the school leader at Brighton High. Secretary, we're just delighted that you could join us today. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Secretary Patrick Tutwiler.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. You all are getting better and better. See, I do, in the Black community, we do this call and response thing, right? It's just how we get down, for lack of better expression. And so when I say good morning and you say it back, we get that reciprocal energy. So I appreciate that. How's everyone doing? Okay. All right, very good. Well, shoot, let me change. I had some notes here. I was going to go in a different direction. No, there are some things that I do want to say. Let me start with thanks. First to Chancellor Suarez Orozco, who could not be with us here today, and Provost Berger for hosting us in this incredible space on this incredible campus. And then also thank you to Marinelle for the kind invitation to join you all here this morning, and to New Skills Boston Partnership for convening us here to engage with one another, to learn from one another. I think you've got a really, really powerful day ahead in store. And so I want to do something first. When I asked how you were doing, I was expecting not quite the spry, positive response that I got. I was kind of expecting like the, because frankly, that's how I've been feeling for about the past month and change. And I feel it's important to be honest about the way that I'm feeling. I also feel like it's important to channel the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs of this administration, which I'm about to do right this second. Straight from the heart, not even in my notes. I'm going off script, they're recording. Let me just say this. I also feel privileged to live in Massachusetts, especially at this point in time. The values in Massachusetts are anchored in the core virtues of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those are not bad words in this state. Those are foundational to what we do here. Those values were true yesterday, they are true today, and they are true tomorrow in this state as we think about our work and serving our students and their families. That is not changing. That is not changing in Massachusetts. We are staying the course with the work that we are doing. I felt it important to say that first and foremost. I also want to begin with gratitude and extend my thanks to all of you. Like Marinelle and like Joe, I also credit the individuals who sort of guided me in the early years, which has led to the path and to where I am right now. That individual for me, or one individual in particular for me, is Mrs. Tutwiler. Which I think we called her when we were in trouble, but Mom was the other name that we most frequently referred to her. And my mother was a school counselor by training and spent many years. Hey. I think I just made a connection in this room. A school counselor and spent many years advising students both in the K-12 space, but also in the community college space, and then finished her career as a professor of education. She dedicated her life to training others, to supporting others, and that's a model, that's an example that both my brother and me really, really followed and connected with. Both of us, my older brother Timmy, are educators, and we've spent a life dedicated to ensuring and to channeling the venerable words of Booker T. Washington, who once said, if you want to lift up yourself, lift up someone else. And that was a core value that my mother taught us. So I am grateful to her, and I'm grateful to all of you, because I know firsthand the work that you do, how important it is, how transformational it is for our students. So keep going. Know that I have your back, we have your back, and we appreciate you. Today, I'm excited to share a little bit about the work we're doing in Massachusetts to expand opportunities for students through programs like Early College, one of my favorites, and Innovation Career Pathways. Probably should say that that's a favorite as well. These initiatives are part of our work to reimagine high school in Massachusetts, truly transforming the high school experience to ensure that students are not only prepared for graduation, but also for lifelong success in college and career thereafter. Let me start this morning with talking a little bit about early college. I'm sure you are familiar. We all know that access to college-level coursework while still in high school can be a game changer for students, especially those who might not have otherwise seen themselves in higher education. That's why this administration is investing nearly $20 million to expand early college programs in Massachusetts. This funding will help more high schools partner with colleges and universities, allowing more students to earn college credits while in high school at no cost to them. We've seen the data from these programs, and we've shared it. In fact, we've climbed the mountaintop to declare that since its origin in Massachusetts about 7 years ago, compared to their peers, early college students are more likely to graduate from high school, more likely to matriculate to college, and here's the golden nugget, more likely to persist to graduation while in college with less debt. So important. I should note that many early college students are first-generation college goers, and they, along with their early college-going peers, are getting a head start on their future. As advisors, you all play a key role in encouraging students to take advantage of these opportunities. By integrating early college into students' academic planning, we can ensure that more young students graduate from high school, obviously, but also with a clear and affordable pathway to a degree. In addition to early college, we are making more major strides in aligning education with the workforce through innovation career pathways. Through over $5 million in a FY25 investment, we're expanding these pathways to more than 25% of Massachusetts high schools, ensuring that students gain hands-on experience in high-demand areas like healthcare, like IT, like advanced manufacturing, like clean energy. These pathways are designed to provide students with work-based learning experiences, a pathway to an industry-recognized credential, and connections to local employers, and fee-free college coursework. There are really sort of two goals at work here. First, as is clear in the description, we want to create seamless pathways for high school students to engage with and access high-demand career opportunities, equipping students with the skills they need to thrive in today's economy, while also attempting to satisfy extraordinary demand in certain sectors. Second, and this is a big piece of reimagining high school, this involves creating the relevance, helping students see the connection between what they're learning and experiencing each day in school and a college course or a career pathway that they're interested in. That relevance piece is so incredibly important. And this is not just my opinion. I hear it frequently. In fact, just last week I was at Plymouth South High School, and I was being interviewed by students who are in a broadcasting pathway, and they asked me, I asked them a question. I asked them, listen, you know what I do. I work closely with the governor to advise her on all things education from birth through higher education. Is there feedback that you want me to share with the governor? Is there something that you want her to know directly from you to her? Now, that can be dangerous sometimes because, you know, Kids are honest, right? But in this particular case, the students wanted to express appreciation. They've had opportunities since elementary school to engage with something that they're passionate about, and now see a clear pathway to accessing this passion and demonstrating this passion not only in a course of study in college, but also in a career that they intend to pursue. So for those of you working closely with students in career exploration, Innovation Career Pathways offers that powerful tool, encouraging students to explore these fields and engage in internships and earn industry-recognized credentials, setting them on a trajectory towards stable, high-demand, and well-paying careers. Now, where's Aaron from MyCap? Appreciate you. Didn't know I'd be calling you out like this, did you? Oh, it's all good. It's all good. So I am a MyCap super fan. I might be probably the largest physical fan of MyCap that exists. But shouts out to Erin because I was lost when I got here and she helped me find my way. So not only, whoa, let's take that forward. Helping people find I just thought of that right now. Helping people find their way. That's what you do. Man, love it when a plan comes together like that. Beyond providing opportunities, we know that guiding students through these pathways is just as important. That's why at the beginning of this month, we announced that we were investing $1 million to expand MyCap across 135 schools in the Commonwealth, building on the 50 high schools and 50 middle schools that now are providing MyCap services through a $600,000 investment in FY24. As you all know, MyCap is student-centered, personalized planning tool that helps young people explore their interests, set academic and career goals, and make informed decisions about their future. It's about more than checking a box for graduation. It's about giving these students the tools and the support they need to take ownership of their future. Your roles as advisors is critical in helping students make the most of MyCap. By integrating it into your work, you can ensure that students have a roadmap that aligns with their aspirations, with their goals. High school isn't the only area where we are working to transform education. We're breaking down barriers to higher education as well. Get your clapping hands ready. Under this administration, we have doubled state funding for financial aid. What does that mean? It means making community college tuition and fee-free, and it means making four-year institutions more affordable. Massachusetts now has one of the most accessible, equitable, and comprehensive free community college programs in the country, which has led to, preliminarily, a 24% increase in community college enrollment in the past 2 years, which has led to 24... We've also expanded a financial aid program called Mass Grant Plus, making four-year public colleges and universities, the public ones, tuition and fee-free for Pell-eligible students, and cutting out-of-pocket costs for middle-income students in half. This expansion has led to the first growth in enrollment for Massachusetts public four-year institutions in over a decade. See what happens when you remove the barriers? People go. This year, we want to maintain all of these historic expansions, an important piece of which is making sure that students complete the FAFSA. Complete the FAFSA, so incredibly important. We know that advisors and some educators are the ones helping students complete this form and can take advantage of, helping students take advantage of the financial aid opportunities that help them access their path ahead. We also know that access isn't the only part of it. We also want to see students persist and graduate while in higher education. For the first time this year, we expanded success funding to Massachusetts' 9 state universities. This program has been available at community colleges now for the past few years and has shown promising results. These funds support services like peer mentors, academic skills workshops, academic and career and scholarship advising aimed at increasing graduation rates, particularly among historically underserved students. Much of this work you all contribute to on a daily basis, and we are so appreciative of the work that happens in schools right here in Boston and college campuses right here in Boston and across the Commonwealth. So, I just told you that we're doing a lot of work to expand early college, strengthen career pathways, and support the expansion of MyCap and breaking down barriers that exist to higher education by making degrees more affordable. However, we know that this work and all that we have achieved so far is only possible because of the partnerships that we have with all of you. You are on the front lines working directly with students to help them see the possibilities ahead. You inspire them to dream big, as I saw one of the stickers on the table say, and take advantage of these opportunities to realize their dreams. I want to, again, express my deep appreciation for the work that you do, acknowledge that it's not easy, but it's having impact. And know that this administration and that I personally have your back going forward. My best to you all for an incredible day of connection and learning. And I'll now turn it back to Marinelle and her colleague for, I think, a couple of questions that they might have for me.
Thank you, Secretary Tutwiler. I think it's on now. Perfect. Technology works. Wonderful. Jennifer Poulos from the EdVestors team. Thank you so much, Secretary, for sharing the vision for high school and college in Massachusetts moving forward and reminding us all about the importance of the work that's already been done. So we've gathered a few questions from session participants today that they wanted to hear a little bit more about. So I'm going to jump right in.
Please.
With so much volatility at the federal level in education, something you spoke about this morning, what can you share right now about how the Healy administration plans to respond on 2 critical issues? Potential funding gaps in education, as we read the headlines that come to mind. And secondly, key functions that the U.S. Department of Education historically has had in ensuring access to education for all students.
Those are great questions, and I'm sure top of mind for many folks in this room. Certainly they are clearly top of mind for me and the administration, and also a source of great worry, great anxiety. So with all of the signals coming from Washington, from the Trump administration, the executive orders, the dear colleague letters, the messages, we remain deeply concerned about what the future holds in terms of support from the federal government for education in our state. From a financial standpoint, I should name for you that Massachusetts receives about $2 billion from the federal government to support education. $2 billion. I can also say with great confidence that we're not going to, that money is not in a seat cushion somewhere in Massachusetts. We don't have the capability to recoup that funding should it go away. And the suggestion is that it is not going to go away, but I remain deeply skeptical and worried. So, for example, the suggestion is that a lot of the funding that comes to Massachusetts, whether it be through entitlements like Title I, with which I believe most people are familiar, that's about $300 million. IDEA to support students with disabilities, that's about another $300 million. The suggestion is that they would move the facilitation of those dollars to a block grant. So we've done our research on the history of block grants, and it's not a good history. right? When we look at the shift to the block grant model for social service grants and housing grants, what happens ultimately is two things. One, they lose their value over time. Two, they become more susceptible to cuts. So that shift spells doom in terms of that funding level. We remain deeply, deeply concerned about that. And I should name that we don't have, I don't think any state has the resources to simply find another funding stream to ensure that. The other sort of piece that you raised is about sort of the role and responsibility of the Department of Education, United States Department of Education. I would say the top line responsibility for that agency is really the reason why it came to be in 1979, and that's protecting the rights and the educational opportunities of some of our most vulnerable students, namely students who are multilingual learners and students with disabilities. The Office of Civil Rights, arm of the Department of Education, carries out a really important function, right? You heard last week that they closed the Boston office of the Office of Civil Rights, the federal office right here in Boston. And what did that mean? That meant that it's going to be much harder for the federal government to ensure that those rights are upheld for our most vulnerable students. That Boston office serves all of New England, right? And so the suggestion that somehow now a group of attorneys and investigators in DC are gonna have the same impact, have the same effect, be as effective as having an office right here in Boston, I just don't buy that. And so I am thrilled that under Attorney General Campbell's leadership, they've filed suit because the Department of Education has essentially been incapacitated as it relates to one of their primary responsibilities. And so I'm hopeful that that carries out, but I won't overpromise and say that, hey, we've got these funding streams in case the federal government dollars slow down. And I also remain deeply worried about the supports for our most vulnerable students. So I don't have a rosy picture to paint, but I do have a real one, and it's anchored in real anxiety around what this means.
Thank you for sharing those perspectives. So I want to dig a little bit deeper now into an issue that we know well. So over the last 5 years, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has benefited from investments in building longitudinal education to career data systems, and have made remarkable progress on many fronts based upon some of the learnings that we have from that, again, statewide data. We know it's critical for seamless advising, a topic we're here to dig into today, and specifically data on labor market outcomes, whether we sort of group by majors of students while they're in school and progressing through post-secondary, the different industries or occupations that they aspire to, or even sort of, again, like some of the sort of wage benefits that they receive from a post-secondary credential. But it does appear that some of the work, especially on the workforce side, has been stalled for a little while. Could you speak to what can be done, in your opinion, to facilitate a refresh of the workforce data connection in the existing systems and sort of cast a vision for what's ahead?
Yeah, I'm going to be better at casting a vision for what's ahead. And just name this, for folks who aren't aware, Massachusetts is in the process of building a data system that encompasses data connections, seamless access to data involving all of the state agencies, as well as you mentioned, data that gives us a window into the labor market as well. To my knowledge, this doesn't exist in any other state. And this is going to be, and I've had an opportunity to see pieces of this data platform, this is going to be revolutionary for Massachusetts. This is going to provide us the opportunity, in some cases, to begin to make decisions, policy and otherwise, begin to think about resource allocation based on data sets that we didn't have access to before, based on information and knowledge that wasn't available to us before, and I can speak specifically about one piece that I'm super excited about. But this is a work in progress, and as a matter of fact, in last week's cabinet meeting, the Secretary of the Executive Office of Technology, Service and Security, Jason Snyder, gave a brief overview as to where they are in this work, and boy, is it exciting. Wow. I'm super excited about what this is going to mean, but they are still working on it. Can't offer a specific deadline or point by which they'll be finished, and those refreshes will happen, but I know that they are hard at work on it, and I just want to lift up that it doesn't exist anywhere else in the country. The pieces that are nearing completion that we've begun to look at give us supreme confidence in some of the strategies that we've already launched in the Healey-Driscoll administration. For example, in the early education space, we've begun to collect data that helps us give confidence to the importance of early education experience as it relates to literacy and social-emotional well-being once students reach kindergarten. Now, you might say, well, like, duh, like, people have known the importance of early education for a long time. I agree, but they haven't necessarily had the data that we now have access to support the importance of those experiences. And we have the opportunity now to even look more closely at subgroups and their performance and the impact. And so these are some of the incredible things that are coming with this important platform. I'd say just be patient with us. It's coming. My pleasure. And I'm done.
Thank you, Secretary Tutwiler. We are so grateful to have you. I'm going to invite you to join us in the panel seat, wherever you like. Good morning, everyone. My name is LaVonia Montoute. I'm the Senior Director for Career Pathways at EdVestors. If I haven't gotten a chance to hug you, wait for it. By 3:30, I'll get to you. This is one of my favorite days of the year because it's all about community. It's all about our stories and the stories that we're supporting students to tell. And so I'm very, very excited to have the privilege and honor to be the moderator for the fireside chat today. We have 3 incredible students. I've had the opportunity to talk with them twice now. They are poised. They are so future thinking. They give me hope. And they are flexible. Y'all, there was a fire alarm during our prep call, and they held it down together. And so I just appreciate them. So I want to invite our 3 students, Jasmine Schul, Jason Mai, and Ashley Toney to the stage. But then wait, there's more. This year, our fireside chat includes one of our own. Our Massachusetts School Counselor of the Year, Sugeily Santos, will be joining us, and I also want to invite Sugeily to the stage. So thank you. This is going to just be completely conversational. And so I would just love for us to go down the line, and we'll start with Ashley here right next to me. If you'll just introduce yourself with your name, your year, your current institution, and just because we're curious, your major would be great as well.
Okay, of course. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all having a great time at this summit so far. My name is Ashley Toney. I'm currently a senior here at UMass Boston. Hopefully, I'll be graduating in about 2 months, so woohoo. But yes, so I'm currently a communications major with a minor in psych. I was originally a psych major, but I figured it would be more beneficial to my future goals just to make a sort of pivot. But really, they go hand in hand with each other, so thank you for having me here.
Wonderful. We'll go to Jasmine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine, and I'm currently a junior at Simmons University. I'm a political science major, and I said I'm a junior, so I'll be graduating in a year, hopefully. Thank you for having me.
Hello, my name is Jason. I am a senior at the University of Massachusetts, Boston as an information technology major. I am looking to graduate this year, hopefully, but I've been through, getting to this point hasn't been very easy, and I think LaVonia will try to get that out of me later. But
Sugeily.
Hi everyone, I'm Sugeily Santos. I'm the proud school counselor at the Curley K-8. I am a David Ellis alumni, Edwards Middle School alumni, and Charlestown High alumni. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful.
Did you guys hear me? I have a loud voice.
Wonderful. And then the secretary will be our respondent, but we'll have you introduce yourself at the end. So to get us started, I'd actually like to start with Sugeily with the first question. We're really excited to have you on this panel because it's demonstrative of where we are as a community. We just heard about MyCap, we just heard about the power of advising, and we don't just mean within 9 through 12 or higher education. We're talking about for as many students as possible, and especially in the middle grades. So I would love to just ask you, what does middle grades career exploration look like, and why did your school community start to focus on this as sort of like an early adopter?
So there's two ways I can answer that, but for middle school, I'm very proud to say that I work in a city where our students have choices. We have 20 plus high schools for students to choose from. And for those of you that work with middle school, often their choices are about where are my friends going? Or, you know, that school is like 5 minutes away from my house. But middle schoolers actually have a lot of dreams. They're just scattered everywhere. And I've been doing this high school choice process for many, many years, but I feel like MyCap has really given me a guide, a map to have deeper conversations with students about what they want in their future. And I've noticed the last 2 years, more this year, that when we are talking to kids about career exploration, when we're asking them, what are your strengths, what are your areas of growth, they start thinking a little different. And what I mean by that, I've noticed this year that the way that students chose or ranked their high school was very, very different than the past years. One example I can give you, I had a student who chose the Dearborn, for my Dearborn people here, and I said, interesting, why the Dearborn? And he was able to say they have an engineer pathway or concentration in engineering, and for me, that was very impactful because it wasn't a choice just because my friends wanted to go there. So my point is that I've noticed that since talking to kids about the different careers outside of what they normally know, they are thinking deeper about where am I going next year? Which school has something for me? Which schools offer these particular pathways? And I think that then allows our students and our families to make more informed choices, which is what I want, versus random choices or what they think I think they need. So the earlier conversations we have with students, the better we set them up for high school. At least that's my philosophy.
I concur, so I'll sign up. No, that's so powerful, and I think it really blends into where we want to take this conversation around. How do students make decisions because they're constantly moving? They're constantly going from one institution to the next. I'm proud to say that our entire panel are BPS alums, and they have made multiple transitions in their educational journeys. And so I'm going to come to Jason first. What do you think could have made your own educational journey feel more seamless? And if you can just give folks a little bit of an insight into what your journey was.
yeah, so I would like to start, I think, 7 years ago. So back in 2018, just a student at Boston Land Academy. Shout out my counselor, Miss Cho, by the way. She's somewhere in this room, but she really, I'm just gonna really summarize my time at BLA as not smooth at all. I was not gonna graduate on time initially. But talking to Ms. Cho throughout my later years in high school really helped set me on the path to where I am today. I took dual enrollment to get me back up to speed. So as, I forgot your name, sorry, but as he said before, taking the college level courses really set like an expectation of what I wanted to do. And then when I graduated from BLA, it was 2020. This is a COVID year, 5 years ago to this day where we started lockdown, right? So even after graduating, it wasn't like completely clear. The only institution I was accepted to was Bunker Hill. So I didn't really have a lot of paths, but going through that and then trying to see like what I wanted to do, it was really, really rough. But thanks to Ms. Cho, thanks to local community advisors like Boston Asian YS, and moving on to Bunker Hill, and then talking to the advisors there and also at the admissions office here, because I realized during the time in lockdown, I was like, maybe I should go for a bachelor's, because I wasn't even sure about that after I graduated high school. So I went through all of that. The transition here to UMass Boston wasn't smooth either. All my credits didn't, no, not all my credits didn't transfer. A bunch of my credits didn't transfer. And I basically had to start here like completely fresh. I didn't have the Future Beacons program that was mentioned before, and I see the new programs that Massachusetts keep putting out to help with this transition. And I see it as like something that really helps like not just my case, but a lot of students that might not otherwise come to like a four-year institution here. So after that, I think a lot of your work does not go unnoticed. And I think the more you guys are doing, the more it will help like future students with a seamless transition to get to like a position where I am today. And I also think that, especially starting out in high school, to like guide them to like what they want to do in the future, because things change all the time. I've worked with several high school students actually last year, and a bunch of them who were about to graduate high school, they weren't completely sure what they wanted to do. And they talked to advisors, and I'm like, okay, I could give you some tips too. But I think advising goes a long way in students figuring out what they want to do. So keep at what you're doing.
Jasmine, what would have made your journey more seamless? You moved from Fenway to Simmons, and so what would have made that more seamless for you?
I want to begin by saying that I feel like so blessed to have had the educational journey that I did. And that really even starts off like in middle school. I went to the Mario Umana in East Boston, and that was like one of the first times that I felt like I could really believe in myself, and it was wholly due to my educators, like the teachers that I had. I formed relationships with teachers even in the 6th grade that like have impacted me to this day. And when I was at Fenway High School, actually to this day I still have dinner with my humanities teacher. I'm a junior in college, and she still makes time to meet with me. And I formed relationships with people who like literally believed in me and made me think that I can believe in myself, and like I wouldn't be at Simmons University today. I don't even think I would have applied to the scholarships and the opportunities and the internships that I had if I didn't have people telling me that I really could. I think one of the things that definitely could have made my experience much more seamless per se, or if I could go back in time to like my senior year self and say like ask this one question, for me the financial obstacles were really what have like limited my time at Simmons. We were definitely offered financial literacy in high school, and we had a lot of conversations. We had like a FAFSA day at my school where they made it kind of like a challenge to see like if we could be like the top school to submit the FAFSA before anyone else, and like we actually got excited about if we could. And I actually think my year we were like the 3rd school, which is so cool. But a lot of the conversation centered about what our families could provide and what our families could contribute. And I think a lot of students in Boston know that due to like the cost of living in this city or in this state, a lot of times our families and our parents can't contribute. most of the people that I know that are in school now, especially a 4-year university, pay for it completely out of their own pocket. And had I received questions about what I could pay for myself, what I could contribute myself, and, you know, like even if the time that I would have balancing being a student full-time and working full-time, I think that would have definitely changed my decision with going to school. But actually, with talking to LaVonia right before this panel started, I guess my cab is kind of taking over those conversations about financial literacy. And so that gives me a lot of reassurance and a lot of hope, because while I'm here today, and I did it myself, and I'm so proud to say that, I had an incredible amount of support, and I'm so grateful. And I'm just so happy to know that other people will have the same level of support, if not more. So I'm so grateful to you all and to my cab.
Thank you. I didn't mince words. We are looking at a brilliant future. This is what gives me hope today, so I really want to appreciate you all. Ashley, I want to come to you. What would have made your journey more seamless?
I think for me, everyone has made such great points, so I don't want to be redundant, but I think a main focus for me was mental health and well-being, because as a student, I felt as though I didn't really see myself having a future. Like, I wasn't really understanding or really getting the curriculums that we were learning, and I felt like I was falling behind my peers, and my advisors did the best that they could to help me understand this, but I think it was more of an internal issue where I felt like, what's the point of me even attempting to get into a high school, attempting to get into a college? But because my advisors, I actually have a story. In middle school, there was this test that you take called the ISE test to get into an exam school, and I took it in 6th grade, but I didn't pass it because I didn't have any tutoring, I didn't have any background or knowledge. But in 8th grade, the school, with the help of faculty and advisors, were able to get us the tutoring that the students needed, and I was able to pass and get into the high school that I went to. And I really think that was an impactful moment where they stepped up and made it so that way we got the access to the resources that we needed, because some students, they really are just not getting the support that they deserve, and these advisors see it. So they're doing their best to make sure that we get it, and especially when it ties back to the mental health and well-being. I had an advisor at our school in middle school that would check up on me and actually helped cooperate with my teachers to help me get into her office to talk and to help me with whatever I was going through, which helped me out a lot. And taking it back to what Jason said, I also graduated during the 2020 pandemic, and at that point I felt very, very lost, because I was going to school online, but I didn't feel like I was where I was meant to be or what I was supposed to be doing. So I was going through a lot of negative turmoil and emotion, and I felt like there was no one there for me. But when I met my advisor actually at UMass Boston, he's helped me so much, and he's been my advisor even up until today, because he took the time to get to know me and what I was going through and the path that I wanted to take. That meant so much to me. So I really think that getting to know your students, asking those couple of questions, that really goes a long way. And I know that there are advisors out there doing it, and I really appreciate the work that you're doing to get to know your students, to make sure that they're being seen, because they might not be getting seen in the classroom or at home or any other places. So just ask those extra questions, please. Really appreciate it.
So, Secretary, we've heard several powerful examples. We've heard that we need to start with career exploration early to help students explore their own interests, but also to inform choices. We've heard that we need proactive reaching out to students, because not everybody's ready to raise their hand, but they need support. we've heard that we need to nuance financial literacy because we can't assume that there will be multiple contributors and that there's an element of information that will be helpful. And then most recently, we've heard that mental health, alongside all of these critical pieces of information, is invaluable. I wonder if you could give us any thoughts or considerations based on the remarks you've heard.
Yeah. Let me start by lifting up, and I think this was said already, that the future is bright. I am so incredibly impressed by you all, and I was already impressed by you. I had an opportunity to visit the Curley when we celebrated the incredible work that Ms. Santos does. But beyond being inspired and feeling really, really comfortable and confident about the future with individuals like yourselves, I think the takeaway from me is a few things. One, the incredible importance of relationships. I mean, we often talk in education explicitly and sometimes exclusively about reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? What are the outcomes? What are the outcomes? That's where the rubber meets the road. And we miss some of the critical pieces that actually help students maximize their potential. I just heard 3 incredible students talk about feeling seen, heard, and valued, and that being the impetus for them being successful. Those relationships are so incredibly important, and I will say I feel like MyCap, especially hearing from Ms. Santos, can be the joiner, right? Can be the vehicle that sort of moves those relationships forward in a really, really productive way. I'd also say in the same vein that what we often refer to as the hierarchy of need, the extent to which students are mentally and behaviorally healthy, the extent to which students are food secure, housing stable, have access to meeting their physical health needs, are all the critical foundations for success. And I cannot underscore that enough. And we need to have those conversations before we talk about reading, writing, and arithmetic, and thinking about the learning piece. We have to satisfy those needs first and be attentive to those needs first. The last thing that I would say is, a consistent theme from all of my lovely panelists here was just the importance of advising, right? And, as simple as the asking, how am I doing, those critical touch points, to more substantive and more focused conversations about where are you going, what does your future look like. I just can't, that is so incredibly important, and I'll tell you, it has me feeling really, really good about the $28 million investment that the Healy-Driscoll administration has made in the success grants, because that's what that is. It's all about ensuring that students have a person with whom they can connect regularly, that's looking after them, that's asking those questions about, A, how are you doing, first and foremost, and then B, how can I be a support to you to help you achieve your goals? What are your goals, by the way? Let's have a conversation about that as well. That is a critical piece of ensuring that students reach the finish line, which is the ultimate goal in this work that we do. And so I am feeling inspired. I'm feeling a sense of validation as well in terms of some of the things that we're really pushing hard on and investing in. And again, feeling deeply confident about the leaders that are coming up the ranks.
Thank you, Secretary. Can we give this panel just a round of applause for their thoughts that they've shared with us?